And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcasher here with the Man Hour. For the manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page or check out the blog section as well. But if you're on the old Discord, check out the Discord link below. Click on that, join that, talk some shit, and do all your good stuff. But most importantly, right here, right now, hit the like button if you're enjoying this NFL talk season whatsoever. Hit the like button. Hit a little bit of subscribe button as well. And of course, share this with a couple friends. But before we get too carried away, we got to welcome the man that's been waiting for us for about 10 minutes here, my man Nash Pod. He says he's got his first football practice of the day. Good luck to you, man. First football practice of the day. We love us some football over here. We actually have our first game on Friday this week, so you got your first practice. We got our first game. We got preseason football. We got a lot of stuff happening. A lot of stuff happening over here on the NFL side of things, or football side of things in general. But the guys, last week was a little was a little off script a little bit. You know, the sickness got me down for a couple days. We missed the NFC West complete breakdown. But this week, we're going to do a complete breakdown of the NFC South. That is the Caronlina Panthers, New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course, the Atlanta Falcons. So buckle up for that. And today we're starting with the Caronlina Panthers. So we definitely got a lot of stuff to talk about moving forward. And quite frankly, I am very, very excited for this week, because once this week is over, we have our playoff predictions out there. We're going to really see what is going to happen. And spoiler alert, the number one seed of the NFC North is still wide open. The number one seed of the NFC is still wide open in general. Is somebody from the South going to claim that number one playoff seed in the NFC? But first. And now, Mike's thoughts. As we venture through week 0 and now week 1, going on into week 2 of the NFL preseason, many people are kind of tired of preseason football. One game is enough. We don't need preseason. We don't need this. We don't need that. Let's just play some real games. And one of the things that I actually got in a conversation with Hannah Bear about, she's like, look, college doesn't have preseason. College doesn't have ramp-up periods. College just gets in there, balls to the wall, let's ball. But what you don't realize out there, Hannah Bear, is that most of these college players have been practicing together since March, right? They've been doing inter-squad scrimmage. They've been doing purple versus white, red versus black, red versus blue, whatever, crimson versus silver. They've been battling each other since March. We've had spring ball, we've had summer ball. Now we finally get into actual fall camp, right? So these college football players have been playing at a very, very high level for a very, very long time. The difference between the NFL and college, NFL, I believe your roster's capped out at 90 players. You can only bring 90 players in for camp bodies and beat each other up. College, you can have 150, you can have 160, or you can just have 22. There is no roster cap on college football, so you're consistently beating up somebody new each and every day, getting more and more depth, getting more and more experience. So stop with this. I'm tired of the preseason. Is it regular season yet? Do we really need preseason? I agree with you guys on that. I want the regular season to be here. I want to see Bryce Young. I want to see Dak Prescott play. I want to see Patrick Mahomes play. I want to see teams do well. But the simple fact of the matter is we need preseason. We need preseason because we wouldn't know that Bo Nix is the next coming of John Elway in Denver. If we didn't have preseason, we wouldn't know that Caleb Williams is the next Patrick Mahomes. If we didn't have preseason, we wouldn't know Ben Stennett is the next Travis Kelce. We wouldn't know this. Now, without preseason, we need preseason. Those are my thoughts. Alrighty, guys, so that is that. What are your thoughts on preseason? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you tired of it? Do you think we need it? Do we not need it? Let me know in the comments below. Let's have a healthy discussion about it. let's talk about it, right? Because, quite frankly, I kind of enjoy preseason a little bit. Gives me a chance to make sure my TV setup over there is nice. I got 4 monitors now. I got 2 on top, and then 1 big one in the middle. I got opportunity on Saturday to make sure that Alaska works. Make sure the surround sound in the garage is working. Make sure my Bud Light's on cold ice. I like it. It gives me time to prep up. But guys, let me know. What do you think about that? Preseason, yay or nay? Yay or nay on the old preseason? But before we get into today's show, talking about the Carolina Panthers, we have to address the elephant in the room. We have to address the elephant in the room. That is the one and only, the Dallas Cowboys. When we look at the Dallas Cowboys, we talked about them a lot on Friday. I think for a whole hour, we talked nothing but the Dallas Cowboys. Well, they had a preseason game the other day. They ended up losing to the LA Rams like 13-12, I believe it was. But the elephant in the room was Jerry Jones post-game. Post-game. Basically said, I got in trouble. CeeDee, we do miss you. CeeDee, we do need you. CeeDee, come back to us, right? Jerry Jones was a backpedaling fool. It was like he was playing defense and, oh, shit, they're running me deep, and I better run as fast as I can. Jerry Jones ate all those words that he spoke out, what was it, Thursday, tried to gobble those all back up and put them back in, and people were not having none of it. None of it. He said, CeeDee Lamb, you are missed. We laid you. Don't leave us. Don't leave us. But then I got to thinking about some other notable holdouts from training camp for the Dallas Cowboys. Most recently, Zeke Elliott, right? He held out. Missed 3 games to the first part of that season. Came back, became the highest paid running back in the NFL. Kind of had a shit-ass season. Emmitt Smith. They won the Super Bowl back in 1995. He come back, said, I want some da-da-da bills, yo. They're like, no, we're not going to pay you. He set out 2 games. The Cowboys sucked those 2 games. He came back, and they won a back-to-back Super Bowl championship to 1996. Become the highest paid running back in the NFL. So, guys, when we talk about CeeDee Lamb, how much are the Dallas Cowboys going to miss CeeDee Lamb if he were to miss 1 game, 2 games, potentially 3 games, 4 games? How much do the Dallas Cowboys need CeeDee Lamb? Now, I understand CeeDee Lamb has been in this offense for a long time. Dak Prescott has been in this offense for a long time. They probably have a nice little connection. Let's just be honest, right? But when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, they got a lot of new pieces in there, right? Michael Gallup, no longer there. He's actually retired. He went to the Raiders and said, I don't want to play football here no more. See you later, right? Zeke is back now, right? They got a lot of new parts on the offensive line. There is a lot of moving parts a part of the Dallas Cowboys team. And when we look at the schedule, week number 1, they do open up on the road at Cleveland. Arguably a top 10, top 5 defense in the NFL. They're back at home taking on the Saints, a much improved Saints team. Spoiler alert, plug your ears if you don't want to know this. The Saints are going to be a good football team. I have them as a top team in the NFC, battling for the Cowboys, battling for the Lions, battling for the 49ers. I think the Saints are it. Then they're at home again, taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Guys, if CeeDee is not in this lineup, the Dallas Cowboys could very easily start the season off 0-3. They could very easily behind the 8 ball real freaking quick. And then they got a Thursday night game, primetime video, versus the New York Football Giants at MetLife Stadium. Then you're at Pittsburgh, and then you play the Detroit Lions going into a bye week into number 7. If CeeDee Lamb is not on the field, guys, the Dallas Cowboys could very easily start off the season 1-5 going into the bye week. Hell, even with CeeDee Lamb, they could very easily start the season off 1-5. The Dallas Cowboys better figure out the CeeDee Lamb situation right now. The writing's on the wall. The writing is on the wall. All the top 10 receivers in the NFL are making $29.5 million plus. $29.5 million plus. All top 10, right? Tyreek Hill, JJ, Jamar Chase. I think Cooper Kupp is the lowest paying one. Him and Devontae Adams, they're both sitting like 28, 27 million a season. We know where the price point's at. We know where the check's book at, and just marry him. Just marry him, Jerry Jones. Stop being a hypocrite like at this point. And thinking about this even further down the line, obviously Dak Prescott still needs to get paid. Obviously Micah Parsons still needs to get paid. Obviously other players still need to get paid. Dak Prescott has made a lot of money with the Dallas Cowboys. Coming from a 4th round draft pick, getting like $60 million a contract, right? Dak Prescott is a very well-off man. Very, very well off. And when we look at it, right now, I'm starting to question if Dak Prescott is not the odd man out. I'm starting to think maybe there is a rebuild officially going to happen, right? We spoke about it on Friday. Hey, if CeeDee Lamb leaves, gets traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, rebuild is pretty much in full effect. I'm thinking right now the Dallas Cowboys are rebuild full effect. They could offer Dak Prescott all the money in the world, but let's just be honest. A lot of people hate Dak Prescott because he is on the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of people don't think Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback because he is on the Dallas Cowboys. Once Dak Prescott walks and joins up with the Las Vegas Raiders, once he walks and joins up with the Seattle Seahawks or Arizona Cardinals or even the New York Football Giants, and he does what he does with the Dallas Cowboys on another team, he is going to be a top 5 quarterback, and you guys are going to be all loving him. You guys are going to be all loving him. Oh, Dak, you're the greatest in sliced bread. Maybe that's what Dak Prescott wants. Maybe that's what he wants. He just wants to ride off into the sunset, be happy getting 13 wins in the regular season, be a first-round playoff exit, whatever. Hall of Fame numbers, baby. Hall of Fame numbers in the end. We got my man Jim Pallas in the chat. He is a CFO of Pigskin Pundits. He simply clicked on the subscribe button alone, become a member. He got some free merch, and now he is the leader of the show, the leader of the pack. Vroom, vroom. If you know, you know. Jim Powell says Saturday ain't going to tell either team anything. It's going to be let's see who's East Carolina School of Deaf, Dumb, and Blind linebacker can do. First things first, Jim. Preseason is a lot of fun when you have a shitty-ass team like the Las Vegas Raiders. Preseason is a lot of fun when you have a team like the Denver Broncos. The preseason is a lot of fun when you have a team like the Buffalo Bills. When you have so many questions surrounding your team and you have a little bit of a bright spot, boop. Bo Nix throws for 4 tutties, right? Or whatever he did. Denver Broncos fans like, oh, by golly, we found our quarterback of the future. When the Las Vegas Raiders play good and by golly, we got ourselves a quarterback controversy. We'll know next week, maybe. We'll name a quarterback next week. Preseason matters for those shitty teams. Jim, your team's shitty. You should love the preseason. Might be half of your win total for the rest of the season. John Peoples is in the chat. Speaking of Pigskin Pundits, he's a Pigskin Pundit as well. He says Bucks over Saints all day, baby. Ooh, I like me some Bucks. Nash Prod says you watched much of preseason. I watch all of preseason. I have the NFL Plus subscription, and I have all 3 TVs lit up. I am watching a lot of preseason football. Honestly, on the weekends, there is always football playing on at our house. Whether it's high school game film, whether it's NFL pass games, whether it's my kid's flag football game. We are watching a lot of football, and we are getting a lot better. My son, River, the oldest, he is 6. He loves watching game film. He's like, Dad, let's watch some film. And that is what we do. We sit here and we watch film. We watch Dak Prescott, His quarterback stance is, here we go, say go. Why? Because that's what Dak Prescott does. Top 5 quarterback in the league, baby. Jim says, I know it's a football show, but your hat eludes you to be a Gavin Winston fan. No, my hat tells me I'm a Josh Allen fan. PP. What's up, PP? He says, I really don't think CeeDee is coming to Kansas City. Listen, the longer this holdout by CeeDee Lamb continues, by him not reporting to training camp, by him not signing a long-term deal, I could see a trade more adamant. It may not be to the Kansas City Chiefs. It may not be to the San Francisco 49ers. It may not be to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I could see him going to a team besides the Dallas Cowboys. Whether it be a team like the Cleveland Browns, whether it be a team like the Atlanta Falcons, whether it be a team like the Carolina Panthers. If CeeDee Lamb gets leaked out as trade rumors like it is right now with the Kansas City Chiefs, 2 first-round picks plus a player is not out of reach. It is not out of reach one bit. When a big name like CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, when those names hit the market, there's going to be teams with bad receiving cores coming to flock. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs don't have a bad receiving core, but by golly, they could definitely use a receiver like CeeDee Lamb, especially since old Hollywood Brown could be out for an extended period of time. Broke his shoulder or something. I don't really know the extent of the injury. But the longer this drags out, the longer it could happen. The longer it could happen. Jim says, come on, man. Minshew is the next Jim Puckett. It's pretty plain to see. Minshew will have better numbers than Trevor Lawrence. Jim, that's not hard to do. Trevor Lawrence is a below-average quarterback. Trevor Lawrence is not very good. Actually, I think right now, Gardner Minshew, as a starter, has better numbers than Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence got paid to be below average. That's not saying a whole lot. Now, compare him to Dak Prescott, baby. My man James Franks in the chat. What's up, James? He said, Baker woke up feeling dangerous. They will ball this year. I think the Bucs will ball this year as well. I think he will. Jim Pals, did Josh Allen go to Kentucky? He did. He did go to Kentucky. He was a part of that team that really kind of blew up, right? With Benny Snell. It was Josh Allen. They have like 10 or 12 professionals from that team in the NFL now. I mean, Josh Allen was definitely on the glow up, right? A part of that rebuild process. And James Sand says, CeeDee would be scary in Cleveland. He would if you all had a decent quarterback. And James Frank says, they got Minshew with dreads and Madden. Good Lord. Good Lord. Madden is the only game that is cycle, rinse, and reuse. They have not updated that game in like 7 years. You could probably play the same Madden game from like 5 years ago. It would still be the same as that controls. Graphics would be pretty much the same as well. The only thing that's changed is the roster. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. Nash Prod says, I have a Josh Allen college card. There you go, baby. That's going to be worth some money. Especially since he doesn't go by Josh Allen anymore. It's Josh Hines Allen. Probably took his mama's name or something. I don't know who Hines is. Raiders won't need Prescott. Minshew will be just fine, says Jim. Don't need the next AB on the 10 on the Raiders either, CD. When I see statements like this, Jim, obviously Antonio Brown was just a head case, whatever, right? Froze his feet off was just a crazy aspect. But people are speaking like this about CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk, and other receivers that want to be traded or want to get paid, right? The simple part of it is it's business at the end of the day. My production for you is a lot more valuable than what you're paying me. Now, I would like a pay increase, or I would like to switch jobs. Can you provide me that? Just like how the owners can say, you know what? Your production value is not up to what I'm paying you. I'm going to cut you, or you can take a pay cut. Which one would you like? CeeDee just wants to be paid what he's worth. Brandon Ayuk wants to get paid what he's worth. I cannot believe that fans are like calling Brandon Ayuk a cancer on their team. Brandon Ayuk is the glue that holds the San Francisco 49ers together. Brandon Ayuk is one of the key pieces to them. It is crazy to me that you guys would think that. Like, what? What? James says, I scored a Madden with Mike Vick on it, but was disappointed I couldn't play it. Would have brought my childhood memory back. And then John wants to say Brandon Ayuk is a whiner. He said Brandon Ayuk is a 40 whiner. Listen, Jim. When Brandon Ayuk comes to the Las Vegas Raiders for Devontae Adams, and he is leading the NFL in yards after catch, when he's leading the league in touchdowns, when he is leading the league in total yardage, I don't want to hear you belly aching. Oh, look at my boy Brandon Ayuk. We're another fit. I told you, he was going to be good. The only reason why you're saying he's a whiner now is because he's a 40 whiner. If he would come to your team, just like James said, he's a dog. He's a dog. Watch his college tape. It's the same as the pros. He gets out there and he does work. He does work. How is that going to happen? You said we suck. So, Jim, I did say the Las Vegas Raiders suck. As currently constructed, the Las Vegas Raiders suck. However, that doesn't mean Brandon Ayuk can't eat on the side. That means Brandon Ayuk can't come in there and be a little spark in your offense. That doesn't mean he can't go out there and score some tutties, get some yardage. That doesn't mean the rest of the offense doesn't suck. Your running back's suspect at best. Brock Bowers could be good, just not this year, just not next year, 3 years maybe. He will be something. Raiders right now, as currently constructed, suck. Y'all need a quarterback. AOC isn't it. Gardner Minshew isn't it. Hell, you guys better make a trade for Trey Lance right now. That man balled out. John says he'll be picking up jock stracks in the locker room. No, he won't. Brandon Ayuk's a dog, man. Come on. Matthew Dilton. I'm butchering that last name. My bad, man. But Matthew says, as a Steelers fan, I wish Omar would get the deal done already for Ayuk. Right? Like, what is the holdup at this point? Is it the years on the contract? Is it the amount of draft picks you're sitting? Is it the player? Is it the 3-team trade that we talked about on Friday? At some point, just get the shit done. We are, 3 weeks away from the NFL season? We have this week preseason, next week preseason, a week off. So we're like 4 weeks away. Was like September 9th or something. It's getting close. It's time to shit or get off the pot. Time to shit or get off the pot. Let's just be honest. Same QB will be having the rock that you don't like. It's a circle jerk. Listen. The Raiders do have a bad quarterback situation. AOC or Gardner Minshew. If Gardner Minshew starts, you guys are in a world of hurt. He's good for about 6 games, and then that's about it. AOC probably has the most room for growth and improvement. Highest ceiling, lowest floor. I feel that if the Raiders would ever get Brandon Ayuk, there's got to be something else in the mix. Getting Dak Prescott. James says, I do like the Raiders coach. James does like him some AP. Okay, slow it down, baby. AP is a good guy. He's a good coach. I like him. John People says, okay, then. He'll be sniffing them. Sniffing the jock straps. Good Lord. Detail yum. Matt D. There we go. I got the last name that is butchered more times than not. So I definitely get it. Nash Prod says, we need wide receiver. We need a wide receiver room that we know will be good. He's talking about the Buffalo Bills. Nash Prod is a Buffalo Bills fan. He says, we need that wide receiver room that is going to be good. Listen, if you talk to Buffalo Bills fans right now, other shows that I watch, other shows I'm a part of, I get to, people invite me on their shows, all that like all the time. And I was recently on a Buffalo Bills podcast, 4 days ago, and they had a panel of 3 guys, which I hate joining a show that has 4, 5, 6 hosts. That's just dumb. But they all were like split. We're like, hey, we're going to be great in the receiver room, as in the Buffalo Bills, or they're going to be really bad as the Buffalo Bills receiver room. There is so much division, among fans, around experts, around podcasts, around TV shows, about who the Buffalo Bills are going to be. And as a Buffalo Bills non-fan, I guess you can say, I kind of like the room that you guys have. It's nice and young, right? Kind of much like the San Francisco 49ers were a couple years ago, right? They had Debo and Ayuk and George Kittle, all kind of pretty much unknown, right? Now you do have a solid tight end room. Receivers are kind of there, kind of unknown. They could glow up and, they could be in the same situation as Debo and Ayuk. I mean, let's just be honest. Jim thinks there's a quarterback controversy in Steelers land. There would have been if Justin Fields would have played just a wee bit better. The simple fact of the matter is, Jim, Justin Fields did not play great in his preseason debut. Justin Fields just was kind of just out there, still kind of learning, like it seemed like. When players think they are just a half a step slower, when they aren't confident in the play that they know the play, they're just a half a step slower. And that's what Justin Fields looked like. He just looked like he was a half a step slower on some of the reads, on some of the scrambles, hell, even some of the handoffs. Seemed to be just a wee bit slower one way or the other. And I think if Justin Fields would be if Mike Tomlin would just come out and be like, hey, Justin Fields, you are our guy. Russell Wilson's hurt. He has a calf injury. He's hurt. He's going to be out for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. You are our guy. I think we would see a different demeanor in Justin Fields. And then we would truly have a quarterback controversy. I know Mike Tomlin has come out and said that Russell Wilson is our guy. Once he's healthy, he'll be out there, yada, yada, yada. But deep down, if Justin Fields is performing well, is playing well, I'm not married to Russ. I'm not married to Justin. They're both here on 1-year deals. We didn't draft them. We brought them in. Yes, Justin Fields wants to be here. He has to be traded to here. So the simple fact of the matter is, yeah, there could be a controversy, but the only thing is just stick to one. If you stick to one, you'll be A-okay. But don't go back and forth. Don't go back and forth. James Frank says Nick Chubb's days away from the first game. I don't know what Nick Chubb's number is, but was it 28? 28? 26? Trubisky MVP says, is Caleb Williams already a top 5 quarterback? No. The simple answer is no. Caleb Williams did play well in preseason football. He did. I was very impressed with his preseason debut. I was very impressed the way he threw the ball. I was very impressed the way he's been handling the media. I've been very impressed the way he has kind of led his team. But to be a top 5 quarterback, prove it to me for a full year. Prove it to me for a full year, play at a top 5 level, and then let's talk about it. That's why right now I don't have Jordan Love as a top 5 quarterback. Hell, he barely breaks the top 10. The only reason why he's breaking the top 10 is because of the playoff wins, to be honest. But Caleb Williams is not a top 5 quarterback. I mean, he could be. Excuse me. If it was August 12th, 2025, and you asked that question, could be. But as of right now, August 12th, December 2024, happy birthday, Grandma. No, he is not. He is not. Casey says, Raiders just tank the whole season. Seriously, though. Oh, and here we go. Chiefs better watch that ass. Kelsey is in year 12, and I clearly remember the step I took and knew I was done. I know you do too, Kelsey. Kelsey will take that first step this season. So basically what Jim is saying is that Travis Kelsey is in year 12 of his NFL career. At this particular point, he's been playing football for at least 20 years, probably, right? 4 years in high school, 4 years in college, 20 years, right? Not counting middle school, 6th grade, 5th grade, 4th grade. Hell, here in Indiana, they want to start kids that tackling at 1st grade. Get that shit out of here, but that's just me. As a tight end, we've seen people go boop, 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 boom, right? Gronkowski. Other notable tight ends, Aaron Hernandez. Is that too soon? But, Jim, you might be right. This might be the year that Travis Kelsey does slow down a little bit. We saw it preseason last season with this. It was his first time ever of really getting an injury that caused him to miss games. That sprained ankle. I definitely see it, right? I definitely see it. Jimmy Graham comes to mind as well. You know, he was up and up and up, and then just, boom, Greg Olsen, right? It seemed like Greg Olsen was there in your face everywhere, and then all of a sudden he's in the booth. Like, what? In the NFL and life and everything, it happens fast. That one turn of the knee could turn into a lingering knee sprain that could be career-ending. Like, I mean, I don't wish injury of anybody. Never have, never will. But you could be right, Jim. Who ordered a large haterade? This guy did. James, back to the Buffalo receiving core here. He says, Ayuk in Buffalo should be a thing. So when we look at the Buffalo receiver core, so I believe this is what the holdup is for the San Francisco 49ers and the Pittsburgh Steelers trade to happen. When we talked about the San Francisco 49ers trading Ayuk, I feel they need a player in return. They need a player in return that is going to be able to contribute to this team this year. Their Super Bowl window is rapidly closing. They maybe got 2 years left before they can really consistently compete for a Super Bowl, because once they pay Brock Purdy, it is all downhill after that. They have to restructure and kick the can down the road for many, many years to come. He's going to get $65, $70, $75 million. He's going to get paid a lot of money. And when that time comes, Bosa's got to get paid. Debo's got to get paid. You got to figure out the CMC situation, George Kittle. So I think the holdup in San Francisco is they want a player in return. So are the Buffalo Bills willing? What are they willing and player-wise to give up for Brandon Ayuk? I think it has to be a receiver. Do you give up their number one guy in Shakur, right? He definitely had a really good season last year, kind of glowed up toward the end of the season. Yes, it was the Joe Brady effect, right? Stephon Diggs kind of got kicked to the curb, and he had those nasty, gritty yards. Is it Keenan Coleman, the rookie? Hell no, right? Is it MVS? Probably not. Curtis Samuel? If anything, it would probably be a tight end. Dalton Kincaid. Who's the other guy? Dawson Knox. Do you have a 2 tight end system in 49ers that would replace Ayuk? Could. But would the Buffalo Bills give up any like those guys? Probably not. I think the Buffalo Bills are fine where they're at simply because they can't afford to give somebody away. They can't afford to lose their rookie draft pick in Keenan Coleman. They can't afford to lose their number 1 guy in Shakur. 49ers probably don't want Curtis Samuels or MVS. Hell, what did MVS do in Kansas City for like his $12 million or whatever it was? I'll be the first to admit, I was excited when the Kansas City Chiefs signed MVS. Oh, hell yeah. That man caught like 12 balls. 12. Jim Powell says, Fields didn't play great in all his time in Chicago either. And Russ is horrendous. We can talk more about Justin Fields. Mr. Boston, I don't understand. Is that Russian? I think it's Russian. Sorry, man. James says, I think the Steelers want IU because he's Tomlin's twin. Get out of here. Get out of here. Mr. Boston says, low IQ. I write the script for all sports. Okay, Mr. Boston, slow it down, baby. We all know the NFL is not scripted. Jim Powell says, that's exactly what happened to Terry Bradshaw. He was yanked around and then chucked, just settled on Bradshaw. Alrighty. Other notable tight ends that kind of went down. Antonio Gates. Jimmy Graham. Yep. James says Kelsey got another 3 years. He's different. He is different. He seems to take care of his body. Yes, he parties and has a good time, travels the world, sees a lot of things. But, yeah, I mean, injuries is a thing, and he hasn't had them, right? You guys are terrible scripts. WBN says that Von Miller contract hurt the Buffalo Bills as well. Ayuk would probably be a 1-year rental anyways. And I wonder if that's a lot of the holdup as well, because the Patriots were willing to give Brandon Ayuk what was like $36 million a season. He's like, nah, I don't want to go there. I think Brandon Ayuk wants to stay somewhere long-term. He wants to be at the team long-term, whether it be 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. He wants that long-term deal. And I think that's the biggest holdup for a lot of these contracts. And John's got to go back to work. Later, John. Be safe out there, man. Get out on the Harley. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. But, guys, let's talk a little bit about the Carolina Panthers. Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers. The NFC South is a division that I think many people are sleeping on. I think the Carolina Panthers are a team that many people could be potentially sleeping on. Do I think they're going to be great? Nah. Do I think they're going to be bad? Meh. I think they're going to be a middle-of-the-road team, and I think the Carolina Panthers have an opportunity to be competitive in a lot of games. When I say an opportunity, that is mainly because of their defense. Their defense. The Carolina Panthers last season and this year's preseason versus the New England Patriots, where they played absolutely horrible. I believe Nash Prod said they had like 17 false starts. Ridiculous. But the good shining part about the Carolinas this season is their defense. Last season, when they were riddled by injuries, right? JC went down. A lot of notable defensive linemen. Shaq went down. Their defensive depth kind of held their own a little bit. They held their own, and they kept them somewhat close in a lot of games. Yes, the Carolina Panthers offense was horrendous last season. Yes, they did finish the season 2-15. Yes, they did do a lot of bad things, but the defense seemed to keep them in a lot of games. They were really only blown out of a couple games last season, right? When you look at the scorebooks, really only one game they were really blown out, and that's the Detroit Lions game and the Miami Dolphins game, both on the road. Come by week 6, 7 last season, they come up and they beat Houston. They lose to the Colts by 8. They lose to the Bears by 3. They got beat down by the Cowboys because it's the Cowboys, right? They lose by 7, 3, 7. They were in a lot of games. Their defense is the good part of the Carolina Panthers. Their defense is going to let them compete in a lot of games this season. Their defense is going to be why they have some big upsets this season. But on the other side of the good, there's always the bad. There is always the bad of the Carolina Panthers. And their bad is their offensive line. Their offensive line is not good. Not good at all. When you look flashback to 2022 into 2023, they had all 5 linemen returning to their roster. Right? Second-year head coach, Bryce Young's rookie year, got a back second-year starting 5 offensive line. They were shit. They were terrible. This was a team that couldn't stop a bloody nose. This was a team that allowed the most sacks in the NFL. This was a team that did not have the same starting 5 more than 20% of the snaps last season. They were injured and they're not very deep. And this year is much of the same. So far, they're injured and not very deep. They dressed 7 linemen for a preseason 1 game. 7. You start 5. They don't have very much depth on the offensive line, and that is bad news for the Carolina Panthers. And then you look at the ugly. The good, the bad, the ugly. The ugly is their quarterback room. Their quarterback room is bad. Yes, I know Bryce Young did not play this preseason game. Yes, I know Andy Dalton is an old veteran. I get it. But Jack Plummer, I believe he's a Louisville Cardinal. He looked bad. He looked lost. Held the ball on forever. Jake Luton, come in and kind of in relief, kind of did somewhat good. I mean, yeah, he was 7.49 for 38 yards, 4.2 average. But you're not going to live and die off Luke Luton, are you? Throwing for 38 yards on nine attempts. The quarterback room is going to cause them a lot of issues this season. If Bryce Young, God forbid, happens to miss a game or 2, Andy Dalton isn't going to save the team. Jack Plummer isn't going to save the team. Jake Luton isn't going to save the team. The Carolina Panthers quarterback room might be worse than the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's just be honest. But a bright point, like my man Ant just said, they have an underrated wide receiver core. Leggett, Dante Johnson from Pittsburgh, and Adam Thielen had a pretty good season last year. So Dante Johnson, they did get in a trade from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm kind of curious to see what he will do, see how he will intertwine with this old wide receiver core. Adam Thielen did have a record-setting year last year for him, a career high in his 10th season. However, the reason why he had a record career or a career year, because he was the only receiver, right? They do have Xavier Leggett. Am I saying that right? Leggett. He is that rookie prodigy that's a very southern accent, right? He has gone viral on many But Jonathan Mingo might be the true undercard there for the Carolina Panthers. He's going into his 3rd year, and he could potentially blow up this season. So if you have a late draft pick in the fantasy, might want to look at him, right? Jonathan Mingo. But besides that, I don't have many faith in the Carolina Panthers. I think they're a decent team. The defense is good. The offense is really, really, really bad. Hell, Miles Sanders is still on the roster. Who? Miles Sanders? Yeah, that Miles Sanders from the Eagles a couple years ago. That might be the bright spot of their team, along with Chuba Hubbard. But let's go through their schedule. Let's go through their schedule. Week 1, they're on the road taking on the New Orleans Saints, a very, very good New Orleans Saints team. Guys, I was kind of talking down about the New Orleans Saints earlier in this breakdown, right? When we started back when the NFC East, kind of talking down a little bit about the New Orleans Saints. Watched a lot more film, getting pretty hyped about the Saints. Panthers lose week 1 to the Saints. I want to point this out here real quick. I think the Panthers keep every game legitimately close. 1 to 10 point, or one score to a 10-point score on each one of these games. I don't think they truly get blown out any game this season, but they do lose a lot of games. Week number 2, they lose to the Chargers. Chargers going to run on that defense. I think the defense, that front four, is the weak point, and I think the addition of the running back rooms in Charger land gives them that win. Week number 3, Gardner Minshew taking on Bryce Young. Gardner Minshew's going to win this game. Give the shorts man the beer. He's going to win this game. Week number 4, Cincinnati Bengals. Man, that's a tough loss. Close, but it's a tough loss. Tough loss. Then they play Caleb Young. Number 1 pick for number 1 pick. Bears win this game. Week number 6, they lose to the Falcons. Week number 7, they lose to the Commanders. But week number 8, Bo Nix versus Bryce Young. First win of the season. Going to Mile High. Week 8, first win of the season. Now we rolling. Nope, just kidding. Lose to the Saints. And then week 10, guess what? They beat the Giants. Hey, winners of the last 2 out of 3, right? We rolling. But week 11. Circle week 11 for the Carolina Panthers. It's the bye week. Right now, they are 2-8 on the season. They're not a good football team. They're battling for the first overall seed. Bryce Young looks probably pretty bad. The offense looks even terrible. Head coach could be back on the hot seat again. Yes, I know he's the first-time head coach. Yes, I know he needs to get his feet wet a little bit. Yes, I know he needs to grow his teeth out a little bit. Head coach is on the hot seat, and Bryce Young gets benched. I think week 11, Bryce Young gets benched. Now, I do not think the answer is Andy Dalton. I do not think Andy Dalton gets named the starter. I think he is just a permanent backup at best for the Carolina Panthers. Luke Lutton might get the start, but the Carolina Panthers might pick up a quarterback off with a free agent wire once the dust all settles from the preseason, right? There are going to be some good quarterbacks that get cut. There are 3 pretty good quarterbacks in Dallas right now. Dak Prescott, Trey Lance, Cooper Rush. When Cooper Rush gets an opportunity to play football games, he wins. He is a winner. Granted, it's been with one of the best defenses out there, one of the best coaches, and one of the best team in the Dallas Cowboys. But do not be surprised if Cooper Rush gets picked up by the Carolina Panthers off of the Dallas Cowboys practice squad, maybe make a 7th round, 6th round trade, potentially. But week 11, circle that. And James says, damn, Andy Dalton's still playing. Well, if you want to call it that, he's still on the team. So after the benching of Bryce Young, insert new quarterback, maybe a little bit new life in this team. Let's not forget that they have won 2 of their last 3, right? Beating the Broncos, losing to the Saints, beating 2 of the Giants. Week 11, quarterback switch. Week 12, Kansas City Chiefs come into town. I think this is the upset of all upsets. Week number 12, I think the Kansas City Chiefs just come in and just play a very, very bad football game. Carolina Panthers are a little bit hyped. Brand new quarterback, potentially Cooper Rush, a potentially Trey Lance, potentially somebody besides Bryce Young is in there. And the hype is around the quarterback position. The hype is around the Carolina Panthers. This defense plays well. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs week 12. Week number 13, Tampa Bay Buccaneers come back into town. 4 straight home games for the Carolina Panthers. And guess what? They beat the Buccaneers as well come week 13. The new quarterback, very little film on them. The defense is playing with a little bit of swag. Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen is eating, right? Miles Sanders might go off for 100 yards. Hey, 3 wins in a row. But the wheels come back off the wug. They lose to the Eagles. They lose to the Cowboys. They lose to the Cardinals. They lose to the Buccaneers. And finally, week 18, they get another win over the not-so-good Atlanta Falcons, giving me did not download it. It is a 5-12 record this season. Yep, 5-12. I had the Carolina Panthers going 5-12 this season, guys. Not a terrible team like their record will project. The defense is pretty good. I just think that Bryce Young is not the answer. I think Bryce Young just needs a lot more weapons around him, and the system in Carolina, the receiving core is just not working for him. Now, does that mean he won't start in 2025? All depends who they pick up during that week 11 bye week. Is it Trey Lance? Is it Cooper Rush? Is it somebody else? Daniel Jones? Is it Sam Darnold? Somebody. But I think they're a 5-11 team. James Strang says Cooper Rush was nice when the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott went down. We'll talk about that tomorrow. James says, no way the Chiefs by 20, baby. Week 12, when Kansas City Chiefs come into Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. By 20, he says. As a Chiefs fan, right there's a flag. Chiefs Kingdom. Got me and the old wifey's nice. Look at her butt. Isn't that the nicest butt ever? Damn. I'm glad I married that. We are Chiefs fans. I just think they shit the bed. Shuetti, am I saying that right? Hey, you're really cute talking about the Panthers. Well, I'm going to be really cute talking about the Chiefs. Amanda says, turn the lyrics to Maddox Baxter's Tears in the River. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, Amanda. So James says, they improved a little bit. A little bit. You go from 2 to 5 wins. That's a little bit improvement. Yep. But let me know, guys. 5-12 for the Carolina Panthers. Too high? Too low? Just right. See ya.